Welcome to Summer Houseplant Tour 2021. We'll start in this corner where several of my orchids are inside while I'm on vacation. Normally at this time of year they're outside getting as much sunshine and heat as they can. So the largest one here is an Oncidium, and it is Oncidium or Oncostelle High-Low Firecracker New Year. It is a fall bloomer, and this year we have lots of healthy looking new growth, and that's what I'm trying to pump the sunlight into to get it big and strong so that hopefully we'll get spikes. This is Cymbidium Vanessa amorosi, and I'm not exactly sure what conditions it needs to flower, but this is one of the warm tolerant Cymbidiums, so again we're giving that the outside time. It's got lots of new growth on it since I got it, and one of the things I love about it is that it's got a look like a tall grass that's a really nice element to add into the house. Now this one I ordered it in January, which I shouldn't have. You can see the name on the screen. It is essentially another in the Oncidium family. However, it's got another name. So again, we're working on getting this new growth to the point where it has big pseudo-bulbs so that hopefully we get blooms. Also in this corner are my two calatheas, and this is a classic rattlesnake calathea, and then this is Calathea mosaica, the network plant. I really like the way they add different textures and pattern into the room. And next to them, this is my little Arabica coffee plant. This growth is new since I put her outside for summer. Now she tends to have a problem with mealybugs, to the extent that I'm almost always treating her. I have repotted her, but she's just very attractive for them. So there is some damaged growth on her. But I do see her getting bigger, and that's what we're looking for. And then this was a birthday present from me to me last month. This was a wish list plant for a long time. This is Anthurium clarinervium, which I love for that venation. And I wasn't expecting too much from her the first year, but there is a bit of new growth coming in, so that's exciting. And then also for my birthday, I bought myself this Philodendron melanochrysum. Now this is just doing amazingly. When I first got it, it didn't have any growth above this leaf here. And now, as you can see, this leaf broke off, but these other two leaves have come in immediately. They just turned around and brought me new leaves. So it's going to have to be staked on something bigger in the future. But I'm very excited by it, and it's still in a juvenile form, but it will, I think, grow me long leaves in all good time. And again, this is known for its texture and its venation, but mostly its texture and coloration. It's this beautiful, beautiful velvety texture. And the backs of the leaves are a greeny bronze. Especially when they're coming in new, they're a little bronzy. On the far shelf up there we have Ceropegia woodii, the string of hearts or chain of hearts as my mother called it plant. I have that because it is very sentimental to me. My mother always had one growing, and it's really a part of my memories of her. And then down here is a vanilla orchid, which I'm hoping will use the wood frame of the window to grow up and grow nice and viney and tall. But it's very new right now, so I'm still waiting on some growth. Then of course we have Monstera deliciosa. Just a regular, beautiful Monstera deliciosa. Got that last year. It was very, very small. And now, as you can see, it's got great, beautiful, huge fenestrated leaves. So the main player right now, just for today, in this terrarium is this giant mushroom, which is beautiful. But then other than that, this is a little mini oncidium, which has new growth, which I'm hoping to get a spike from this year. And I've got a cutting of Cebu blue pothos growing up in there, and some polka dot plant, and a beautiful little Photonia down in the corner. Also, to remind me of Mum, the impossible maidenhair fern, which is constantly on the verge of dying and which I yell at all the time, which was in fact my memory of Mum's relation with her maidenhair fern. So that's a little bittersweet, but it's doing okay just at the moment. Behind that, we have a Bretonia orchid, and this is a Bretonia lavender taffy, and that comes out with spiky, spidery looking orchid flowers in beautiful purples and tawny shades of browny gold. This other orchid over here is a Bretonia as well. That's the Bretonia shelob, and this one is actually the variegated version of the Bretonia shelob, as you can see on those beautiful leaves there. So that's Bretonia shelob okika. In front of it, I just have a little piece of Adansonii, Monstera Adansonii growing out from a cutting I got. This is an alocasia that you may not have seen before. This is alocasia lowrider. It's called lowrider because it stays small and compact. So it doesn't have all the fascinating patterns that you see on many alocasia leaves, but I like it just for the shape. It's a simple green leaf, but with this dramatic shape, and it won't get more than 2 foot tall, which will work very well for me. Above that, we have Philodendron brandianum. Just bought her, so she's just settling in. And then my huge, beautiful pot of Cebu blue pothos, which I'm kind of trying to trail up there, to climb up there, and is trailing down spectacularly. And then down here, my oldest orchid, Paphiopedilum wardii, gorgeous foliage and giving us gorgeous bloom. And this bloom came in 2 or 3 weeks ago and is holding very steady. It's very lovely looking. And here is Pilea peperomoides, looking full and lush. It's really loving the light situation it's getting. And then in front of that, this adorable little no ID phalaenopsis that I got last week. I try to not buy big box phalaenopsis, but this was actually at our local garden centre and the roots are in excellent condition, so I'm feeling very good about it. And isn't that a gorgeous flower? And the other little terrarium is mostly for showing off Mycodes petola, the jewel orchid, which loves it in this environment. And then the rest of it is overgrown with a couple of different little ficus vines. And I love how it's looking overgrown and wild in there. But look at that Mycodes petola. Oh, the lightning veins, they're spectacular. Just can't get enough of that. Over in my shadiest corner is a parlor palm, and I know it looks bright, but as we always, everybody talks about the fact that things look bright, but if you brought a light bead over here, it really is darker than the rest of the room. It's further from the windows, but the parlor palm hasn't minded that at all. And that's also why I have this Philodendron micans over here, is because it's pretty tolerant of low light, and it's giving me a beautiful display climbing up this hoop and filling in the pot. I think it just looks really lovely. Over here's my craft table, please ignore that. But I think this looks really lovely with the parlor palm, the micans together, just very nice. And in this corner, which is right by a west-facing window, it's about 1 meter back from a west-facing window, so that's a little less than a yard, is my Philodendron Brazil and Scindapsus pictus, and I put them together, so I think that they make a really nice shape together. And the Philodendron Brazil is very happily attaching to the wall and heading toward the ceiling, which is what I wanted. Some of the leaves can drape down and some of them could go up. And I'm really wanting to get some of them to head over toward the mirror, and they appear to be doing that. So I'll try and train that vine around the mirror. And the Scindapsus pictus is just not quite ready yet to latch on, but I'm giving it a hook to hold onto the wall with. And I think it will get there, and that will be a really interesting display. So that is what is living in my garden room in the summer of 2021. I hope you enjoyed looking at all my plants. It's always so much fun to share them with you.